I'll start sharing the screen. Okay, before we start the class, let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda Ji. Sri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Okay, so previous chapter we saw all about transcendental knowledge. Okay, so knowledge about Krishna, like Krishna consciousness. What is the transcendental knowledge? And in section 2, we saw Krishna as the goal of all paths, and he is the creator of Varnashrama system. And why he created the Varnas and all? Because we all humans were on the animal platform. So to bring us back to that human level, so he had Krishna had to bring the Varnashrama system. Okay, and then we saw Karma Yoga, how Krishna says that action, like work, leads to liberation. When you work for Krishna without any expectation of results, you work because Krishna desires you to work like that. You have no reaction and you get liberated and you go back to the spiritual world. And then in section 4, we saw how sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. So we saw how different people, they sacrifice different things to obtain the highest the transcendental knowledge. Okay, and finally we saw the summary of transcendental knowledge. What does transcendental knowledge do? So when you get that transcendental knowledge, you get purified and you come into Krishna consciousness. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, you go back to Godhead. Okay, so now today we are going to start Karma Yoga action in Krishna consciousness. Okay. So is everybody able to see my screen and able to hear my voice?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Okay. So this thing, 1 second. Let's go to the shloka first. So this is the first shloka. So let's first read the shloka. Arjuna uvacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yat shreya etayor ekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. So, translation. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" So now you see again Arjuna is confused. So in the 3rd chapter we saw, right, how Krishna got confused, right? So actually in the 2nd chapter what we saw about Krishna tells in contents of Gita summarized. Krishna tells Arjuna that in chapter 2, Gnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga, Krishna explains about soul and the difference between soul and knowledge. So he gives that concept. Okay, so that is Gnana Yoga. So he tells about Gnana or Sankhya. Then finally, which leads to Buddhi Yoga. So finally, we see in the end of 2nd chapter, Krishna tells about Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga, he says, is the best of all, with Buddhi Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga. But in the end, when Krishna says this and asks Arjuna to fight, again Arjuna gets confused. He thinks Buddhi Yoga, Buddhi means intelligence. So when you have to use your intelligence, what is Arjuna thinking? He's thinking that I have to go to the forest and I have to gain knowledge. So how will I go to the forest? And at the same time, Krishna is asking me to fight. So Krishna is saying do Buddhi Yoga. But what is Krishna actually meaning? Buddhi Yoga actually means Nishkama Karma Yoga. So what does it mean? He's asking Arjuna to fight because he's asking him to fight. Okay, without any expectation of results. Just fight for Krishna. Okay, but what Arjuna is thinking Buddhi Yoga is, Buddhi means intelligence. So he's thinking intelligence means he has to go to the forest, he has to renounce all his work. Okay, go to forest, then gain knowledge over there. So he's thinking this way. So he got confused. So Krishna, how can I go to the forest and renounce and go there? And at the same time, how can I fight? He was confused. So then Krishna understood that Arjuna is confused, because in the second chapter, he think I told so many philosophies, right? Arjuna got confused. And then he says about Nishkama Karma Yoga in detail in chapter 3. Okay. And now in chapter 4, what did we see? It's about transcendental knowledge. So what did we see in chapter 3? Transcendental knowledge leads to, all sacrifices lead to transcendental knowledge. So, and we saw how different people perform different sacrifices, what they sacrifice, who are those people, and what they sacrifice, we saw. Finally, why are they doing the sacrifice? To get to that transcendental knowledge. The sacrifice or yajna is generally done to please Krishna or Vishnu. Okay, so when you get that transcendental knowledge, okay, you get purified. When you perform yajna, what happens for Vishnu? You get purified. And you get purified and you start practicing Krishna consciousness. So that is what Krishna is telling. So in the end, Krishna says, in the end of chapter 4, we saw yesterday, right? So Krishna says, remove all your doubts. What is that exact word that Krishna uses? So in chapter 4, Lord advises Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in that perfect knowledge. Okay, now again Arjuna is confused. Okay, Krishna, you're asking me to fight. At the same time, how? In perfect knowledge. Again, Arjuna is confused. See, you're saying fight. And again, imperfect knowledge. Knowledge means again he's thinking you have to renounce. Generally, knowledge is gained, right? When you renounce all your work, material work, and you go to the forest, you read all the books, you gain knowledge. So he's thinking again, how can I go to the forest? At the same time, how can I fight? So Krishna, he understood both. See, how is it like? Which of the two is better now? So he's asking, is karma sannyas better, or now nishkama karma yoga is better? So which of the two is better? Okay. So he asked this question. Okay. So here, see, we've seen this, right? In chapter 2, we talk about Jnana and Buddhi Yoga, right? And then in chapter 3, we talk about totally Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay? 3.17 and 18 talk about that. Okay? And in 4.3, we saw that all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So we saw how different people, some people give material positions, some offer themselves in yajna, all that we saw. Next, in the end of chapter 4, what do we see? Therefore, what does Krishna say? Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. So, armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand up and fight. So, Krishna says, with that perfect knowledge, you stand and fight. You remove all that ignorance. You are thinking that if you fight, you will be killing. Okay, but now I've told you Nishkama Karma Yoga, which means that you will have no sin. When you work for me, don't worry about the results. Leave the results to me. Just fight for my sake. Okay, so remove all your doubts. Okay, forget about everything. Just do your duty for me. So stand up and fight. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay. So this is also again the same thing. Chapter 2, everything they will say, everything. Okay, all this. And see, all beings are constantly making plans for the future. So those thoughts are manifested. Whatever we think, those we put into action. So repeated actions form habits. Habits make up our character. Character determines our destiny. So how to take steps in the right direction is described in the 5th chapter. So we'll see. Okay. So there are steps leading to further entanglement in worldly complexities. We'll see how we get more bound in this material life in the 5th chapter, and how we can at the same time be liberated also. We can be free, how there are steps leading to a life of liberation, freedom, and tranquility and peace. How we can be peaceful, how we can be liberated from this material world. That also we see. Okay, so same thing is said here. Again, the same thing, Arjuna's misunderstanding, how in chapter 2, 3, 4 we saw, right? Same thing is repeat. All this again is Arjuna is still confused. Okay, so Arjuna's confusion is all the same thing. So which is better, he asks, work with devotion or renunciation of work? So he asks, Nishkama Karma Yoga is better or Gnana or Sankhya? I mean, like whatever, I mean, like Karma Sannyas is better. Okay, so he's asking Nishkama Karma Yoga is better, work with devotion or renunciation of work, that is Karma Sannyas. Which of the two is better? Okay, so next we'll see in 5.2 what Krishna says in reply to this. Sannyasah karma yogascha nisreyasa karau ubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. The personality of God had replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So what is Krishna saying here? Both actually karma sannyas and nishkama karma are actually good for liberation. But Arjuna, if you ask me of the two, which is better, so I will tell you to do nishkama karma yoga. See, Krishna says that is better. Okay, so why? See, this chart is given. You can see, right? Renunciation, Mayavadi sannyasis, and work in devotion, Vaishnava sannyasis. So 5.2, now we are dealing with the second shloka. So what is, why Krishna is saying that, why work in devotion is better? Okay, Nishkama Karma Yoga is better than Karma Sannyas. Krishna is telling in this table. Okay, why in second shloka is telling simply gnana is insufficient for liberation. So what do actually Mayavadis do? They renounce all the material things. They don't work. They stop work. They don't do their prescribed duties, and they go to the forest and isolated place. They sit there. They start reading all the Vedas by themselves. They start reading. Okay, reading and whatever the reading they do, they get some gnana, and with that gnana they try to merge into the impersonal Brahman and become one with Brahman. But here what Krishna is telling, I mean that simply, I mean like Prabhupada is telling, simply gnana is not enough for liberation. Okay, it has to be combined with Krishna consciousness for that purification. Okay, simply, I mean, like just by having knowledge or gnana is insufficient. Okay, because there is a risk of fall down. See, Mayavadis, they know they are the soul, but that is not enough. Just knowing that we are soul is not enough. We have to act on the status of spirit soul. See, if you don't act on the status of spirit soul, there is no escape from this material bondage. Okay. Without Krishna consciousness, accepting sannyas does not purify the heart of the conditioned soul. Okay, so just by accepting sannyas, you think you'll be liberated from this world? No, you can't. So without, you have to do Krishna consciousness along with this karma sannyas. Do it for Krishna. Okay, so without Krishna consciousness, accepting sannyas does not purify the heart of the conditioned soul. And if the soul is not purified, one has to work on the fruitative platform. That is, he has to come back to the material platform. Okay. So though, I mean, like, though he comes back to the material platform, though he is in the mode of goodness, he's, I mean, like, he's situated in the mode of goodness. So what does he do? Because he's in the mode of goodness, they come back, they again take back material activities. Okay, like opening hospitals, like opening educational institutions. So, which are nothing but material engagements. They come back to this material world, they do all these social activities. Why? Because they have rejected devotional service to Krishna. So we saw yesterday, right? Why they don't want to do devotional service to Krishna? They don't want to imagine that God has a personal form. See, if God, they think that if God has a personal form, then again, we as individuals, we also need to have a body to serve the Lord. But the Mayavadis, they think that, oh no, this body is so much of pain. We have suffered so much of pain before liberation. Why again after liberation we'll get the same body which is full of pain? No, no, no. And they're scared. They fear. No, no, we don't want body. So they make God also impersonal. Okay, and they merge into that impersonal and they become one with God and they lose their identity. And they don't want a separate identity. They become one with God and they think they are God. They merge into that Brahman and they think they are Brahman. Okay. So because they don't do this devotional service to Krishna, they have no positive engagement, right? How much time will they be in that Brahman? Brahman is just light, right? So they get bored, right? They get bored and they come back to this material platform again. So that is why they become engaged. And you know that the soul is active. Okay, it cannot just sit like that. Okay, and but because they don't do devotional service to Krishna, and because the soul is active, they have to do something, right? The soul has to do something because it is active. So they take back to these material activities. So they start opening schools, hospitals, colleges, and they do all these social activities. Okay, so that's why it is called incomplete renunciation. Okay, but if you see a Vaishnava sannyasi who works in Nishkama Karma Yoga, he acts. It is not just knowledge. He does not think that he's just this soul. Oh, okay, okay, like that. No, he knows that because I'm soul, I must engage myself in the service of the super soul or Krishna. Okay, so he acts. He just doesn't get that knowledge. He knows. Okay, yeah, I know I'm soul. But what does Mayavadi sannyasi do? He thinks, yeah, yeah. For him, everything is jnana only. He does not put anything into action. Okay, for him, it is just jnana, knowledge. And he just does austerity. Okay, meditate, that's all. And he merges into the impersonal Brahman. No activity is there at all for him. Okay, so here in devotional service, there is activity. So the soul, it performs many activities, engages in many activities and serves the Lord, in service of the Lord. Okay, and there is no risk there. You don't fall down on the spiritual platform. Okay, success is guaranteed. So once you perform any activity for God, you get liberation for sure because you get purified. Okay, so you are eligible to get into the kingdom of God. Okay, and this is complete renunciation, to use everything for Krishna, because we do every activity for Krishna. So we are completely renounced actually. We are actually not doing any material activity. We are completely doing any activity, though it may appear like a material activity. We are doing all activities for Krishna. Okay, so if you are doing a job, you do for Krishna. Okay, you say Krishna Arpanam. And whatever money you get through the job, some amount you give it to the temple. So that becomes your job also, you're doing it for Krishna. Okay, you do it to keep your soul and body together. Okay, so that you can do Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so they use everything for Krishna, though it may appear outwardly that he's doing a material activity, but it is totally Krishna consciousness. So there is no reaction to that. Okay, so this is what Shloka 5.2 says. So as in as the next we'll see, and then we'll come back to the tabular column. So 5.3 we'll see. ज्ञेह स नित्य संन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते. So translation: one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. So what is Krishna telling? One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities. So what does a Nishkama Karma Yogi do? He is never attached to the results, right? He leaves the results to Krishna. So he's not bothered. Oh, I've got good karma, I've got bad karma. He doesn't react. He's not bothered. He's least bothered. He leaves all the results to Krishna. He gives his 100% and he leaves the results to Krishna. And he's always renounced. Okay, he's not attached to any material activities, material things. Okay, though it may appear material, he is always Krishna conscious. He does every activity for Krishna. So what happens to such a person? Such a person is free from all dualities. So yesterday we discussed it, how a Krishna conscious person is free from dualities. Like for him, heat and cold, he accepts everything on the same plane. Happiness and sadness, he's steady. He is not like jumps up when something good happens, and he's morose or sad when something bad happens. Nothing like that. He's steady always. So he accepts the dualities equally. Okay, and easily overcomes material bondage. Why? Because he does all Krishna conscious activities, and if you perform any activity for Krishna, you get liberation, because there is no karma. You're doing every activity for Krishna, right? So there is no bondage. You get liberated and you can go back to Godhead. Okay, so this is 5.3. So 5.4. Sankhya Yoga Pritag Bala Pravadanti na Pandita Ekam Api Astitaha Samyak Ubayor Vindate Phalam. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya or Jnana Yoga. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the result of both. Okay, so now here, what is Krishna saying? See, only the ignorant people think that Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga are different. They do not give the same results. Actually, Krishna is telling both are same. Both give the same result. See, one of these achieve the same results. So if you follow Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga, you get the same result. If you follow Karma Yoga, you get the same result. So Krishna is telling, if you follow any of these or both of these paths, you will come to the final path. That is, you will reach Vishnu. Even the final destination of the people who practice Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga is Krishna. Is Vishnu or Super Soul. Okay, their destination is the same. But it looks like it is different, but it is actually the same. Their destination, but the goal or aim, Krishna says, is one. Okay, the way they follow may be different, but the aim is everybody wants to get Krishna, to get a Super Soul or Vishnu. Okay, so that is what is said here. So here Krishna is trying to say Karma Yoga and Sankhya both are eligible for both lead to liberation, and you can choose any one and it will give the same result. Okay. So 5.4. Yat Sankhya hi prapyate sthanam tad yoge api gamyate ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. So translation, one who knows that the position reached by the means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, see things as they are. So Krishna is telling the same thing. See, one who sees the Jnana Yoga and the Karma Yoga on the same level, they see things as they are. Okay, so what is the aim of the analytical study of the material world? The Mayavadis, through this analytical study, through Gnana, they want to find what? The soul of existence. They're researching for God. Okay, they want to find out who is the soul of existence. Okay, and the soul of the material world is who? Vishnu or Super Soul, right? He is the one who is maintaining the whole material world. Okay, so Vishnu or the Super Soul. And what about devotional service? And devotional service to God includes service of the Super Soul. Okay, so the process of Mayavadi, what they do, they only find out because they are on the path of analytical study, right? They only study, they don't act. No action is there. So they act, they only study. So they just find who is this soul of the material universe. So they come to the conclusion that super soul. Okay, super soul is the one, or super soul or Vishnu is the one. But they don't act, no action is performed. But in devotional service, they act. See, they know that they come to understanding that, okay, I am soul. But in Jnana Yoga, they know just soul. That's all. They don't try to serve the super soul. They know they are soul. Okay. They find out, they know that even super soul exists. That's all. But they don't do any activity. But in devotional service, what they do, they know they are soul and there is super soul who maintains all of them and they serve the super soul or Vishnu. Okay. It is like the Mayavadis, they find the root of the tree. Okay, they find the root. They find that Vishnu or super soul is the person who is controlling everything. Okay, but what about devotional service who are Nishkama Karma yogis? They know the root is Krishna and they water the root. Means they do service to Krishna. So there is service to Krishna here, but there is no service to Krishna in Mayavadi sense. They just find the root, that is Vishnu. Here in devotional service, they find the root and they as well as water the root. So they do action also. So you see, right, in the tabular column 5.4, see, the Mayavadis, what do? They find the root Vishnu. And here work in devotion, they water the root. Okay, here they just study. They come to know that, oh, everything is dependent on Vishnu or super soul. They find the root, that's all. Here they find the root in devotional service and they water the root. I mean, it means water the root in the sense they serve Lord Vishnu. Okay, here. Okay, now let's go to 5.5. We'll come back to the tabular column again. Okay, so first we'll see 5.5 and then come back to the about table. Okay, so first let me read the 5.5 shloka. Okay, yat sankhyahi prapyate sthanam tat yoger api gamyate ekam sankyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Oh, sorry, this is 5.5. That's what we read actually. Okay, this we just finished. This is written as 5.4. So this is actually 5.5. Okay, this is 5.4 and this is 5.3. Okay, so we finished 5.5 also. So here we see in many ways they are both the same. Okay, how Krishna is telling, right? Jnana, Sankhya or Karma Yoga are same. How they the tablet they are showing the different the similarities mostly. Okay, both hate not desire fruits. So both don't expect results of the activities of the works that they do. Okay, and they are free from dualities. So they don't like, they accept heat and cold and their happiness and sorrow, they are steady and they get liberated. Okay, but here comes the main difference. See, because they do jnana, right? So they just understand that he is the soul and not this body. So even in devotional service, karma yoga, they know, they come to understand that he is soul and not this body. But what do the Mayavadis do? They become detached from matter. So when they know that he is the soul and not this body, they totally want to give up this bodily concept. So they want to get detached from this material world and material things. So everything they get detached from matter. Okay, but what do the karma yogi people do? They become attached for working for Krishna. What do? They don't get detached from matter. In fact, all the material things that exist in this world, they use in the service of Krishna. Okay, so you just see the difference. This is the main difference actually. Okay, they get, the Mayavadis, they get detached from matter. The Nishkama Karma Yogis, they get attached to Krishna. Okay, so they use all the material things for the worship of Krishna, in the service of Krishna. Okay, so that is the main difference. So they don't do any activity. The Gnana Yogis, they don't do any activity. They just, through Gnana, that is what knowledge, understand only, that's all. And then they become detached from matter. The karma yogis, they become attached to working for Krishna. So it's nothing but, actually, if you see, there's not much difference. See, to when we come in Krishna consciousness, obviously we get detached from matter, right? You get detached from matter and you get attached to Krishna. So it is actually the same thing. Okay, so here Prabhupada says the difference. See, Sankhya and devotional service. So in the first process, Sankhya, one becomes detached from matter, see, and in devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same, actually, if you see. Okay, although superficially one process appears to involve detachment, we may find, for us, when we say detachment and attachment, the terms may seem as if that is a totally different process and this is a totally different process. But it is actually the same. Okay, Prabhupada says in his purport, factually, both the processes are the same. Although superficially one process appears to involve detachment and other process appears to involve attachment. So detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same, right? See, when can you get attached to Krishna? When you're detached from matter, right? If you are attached to all the material objects, then you'll do more sense gratification. You'll try to satisfy your senses only, right? So only when you try to satisfy the senses of Krishna can you get liberation, right? So that is what they're saying. See, when you get detachment from matter and you get attachment to Krishna, it is the same, right? Only when you get detached from the matter, material things, you get attached to Krishna. So when you get higher taste, you automatically leave the lower taste. You lose interest in sense gratification. You lose interest in all the material sense objects. Okay, you do everything for Krishna. Okay, so that is what Krishna is telling. One who sees these things as they are intelligent people. Okay, so this is 5.5. So 5.5 in the tabular column, I think it is there. No, yeah. See, 5.5, what is said in the tabular column? Process is to detach from matter, and here they become attached to Krishna. So it is actually both are same, but terminology is changed. That's all. Here one they're saying detached from matter, and here they're saying attached. That's all. But it means actually same. Okay. So now let's go to 5.6. संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखम् आप्तुम् अयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा न चिरेण अधिगच्छति. Merely renouncing all activities and yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. Okay, so what is Krishna telling here? See, just giving or taking up karma sannyas, we earlier discussed in the earlier shlokas, right? So just taking up karma sannyas without the practice, without Krishna will not purify your heart. Okay, if your heart is not purified, you will be you'll come back to all fruitive activities then. So you will fall down to the material platform. So you will the Mayavadis, they come back again, they do these social activities and everything. So what is Krishna telling? A thoughtful person, what will he do? He will engage in devotional service. Okay, without any expectation of results. Okay, he gives his results like he does his duty to his best, 100% he does, and he leaves the results to Krishna. So such a person is liberated. When he does anything, any work for Krishna, he gets no karma and he gets liberated and goes back to Godhead. So here in 5.6, we've seen the tabular column. Some more differences are discussed. Okay. So in 5.6, what are they saying? What is Prabhupada saying in the purport? See, there is no happiness. See, the Mayavadi sannyasis, they get no happiness. Why? Because the Mayavadi sannyasis, why they get no happiness is they suppress the senses. Okay, we saw, right, how they don't want to enjoy the material things. So they give up all material things. Because when they come to the understanding that they are the soul, they and not this body, they don't want to do any sense gratification with the material things. So this Mayavadis, they suppress the senses and focus only on impersonal Brahman. Okay, so when they focus on impersonal Brahman, because of this, they can't taste the bliss of Krishna's personal pastimes. Okay, as a result, they experience no happiness. See, happiness is only there in Krishna's pastimes. When you experience those pastimes, you get happiness, but they are not at all least interested. Okay, so their focus is only on impersonal Brahman and not Krishna. So they want to merge with impersonal Brahman and they want to become one. So because of which they have no real happiness because they can't enjoy the Krishna's personal pastimes, right? So they can't enjoy real happiness. So what they get out of impersonal Brahman is only temporary peace or austerity. That's all they can get. Okay. While the devotees like Vaishnava sannyasis, they engage their senses in loving service of Krishna and they relish Krishna's pastimes and service. They enjoy doing Krishna's service to Krishna. So they get eternal happiness and bliss. Okay, so that is one point. Next, Prabhupada says they senses are restricted. Mayavadis, we said right, they restrict their senses, so they cannot relish transcendental devotional service. Okay, so the Mayavadis, they believe enjoyment is a distraction. Okay, they don't enjoy, so that's why they don't they restrict their senses. They actually don't want, they think that enjoying is like a distraction for them, and they try to cut off all sense activity. Okay, so they try to enjoy nothing and they just practice austerity and they cannot relish Krishna's transcendental pastimes. So they meditate only on impersonal Brahman. So that is just limited spiritual perfection. It is not the ultimate